Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Friday Night Frenzy. I'm Nick. Joining me is the person who has not enjoyed the last couple of episodes, Jared. How you doing, buddy?
Well, first off, I want to say welcome to Avatar Rewatch, and second off,
Rewatch.
No, but you said Friday Night Frenzy. But I also want to add.
Wait. Actually, no. We're gonna continue. We're gonna
keep going. But
I was about to pause the episode, but no. Let's just.
I will say this, because I'm sure everyone's wondering about this from the travesty that was the last 2 weeks of episodes. Did I like this one? At first, no. Then it got to the war parts. Then I was like, yes.
So I guess
the humor in the beginning was cringe as hell. Once it got into pretty much Saving Private Ryan, I was like, okay, this is dope.
Yeah, so this is basically the mid-season finale of the show. I mean, obviously it's a two-parter, but it almost, like, what I love about this, it almost plays out like the series finale, you know?
Mm-hmm. It almost does. The funny part is that knowing how many episodes are left, I'm like, there's no way they find the Fire Lord. There's no way they find the Fire Lord.
But what's crazy is this entirety of the third season has been leading up to this.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And at first you think, yeah. So yeah, the invasion has begun. What do you think when all the people started showing up?
I was like, oh, it kind of felt like a less cool version of the Avengers Portal moment.
The boulder is confused.
Oh my god. And then when Sokka's given the briefing and he just outlines the entire story of Avatar. And then Katara's like, oh, and he said he was going to start the beginning. He meant the actual beginning.
They've been through a lot. And what did you think about like some of the so what I love is the entire first half of the season, the Avatar has been effectively dead. Not just from a perception standpoint, but also from a persona standpoint. Aang's basically just been acting like Aang these past 10 episodes. So how do you feel like when he I swear. Also, can you pull up the trivia page while we're at it, please?
I have it.
All right, you're awesome. I love you. I feel like that shaving head kind of reminded me of like a samurai film.
Yeah, it's true. That was really cool. I enjoyed that. Also, I thought it was kind of cool, these submarines. I was like, oh, okay, because I was like, okay, how are they gonna get past that thing? And then when it's like it's the whole plan, I was like, ooh, not bad at all.
Yeah, and
I like how this show incorporates bending into stuff, like how bending is now incorporated into submarine combat, and I was like, okay, this is cool.
Yeah, and would you say from the show's perspective, it makes sense?
This makes sense. Bloodbending, no. This makes sense.
That's what I was getting at.
No, bloodbending is still the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
And so for example, we had people like, obviously, the wrestlers. We had the Foggy Swamp Tribe, and we had a Mechanist show up. What do you think of Aang's new glider?
I like it. And I feel it's really convenient that he has a snack container. Question for you, Nick. What would you put in your snack compartment? I would put sour Skittles. And he's got stuff. Oh, Doritos. Not bad. That's actually not a bad choice. Cool. Are you going Cool Ranch?
Bruh. Always Cool Ranch.
Oh, yeah, you got to go Cool Ranch.
And thus another piece has been added to my lore.
Yeah, Nick likes Cool Ranch Doritos. Like literally everyone.
I mean, they are the superior flavor. So.
They are the superior flavor. They are the super wonder of flavors.
Oh, speaking of Super Wonder, I can't wait to.
Oh yeah, I was getting vibes from that too. But anyway, yeah, and the thing about it, so I always say I like to judge action in war scenes because that's my bread and butter among our friends group. I'm the superhero guy. I'm the guy that's a big military history nerd.
So
a lot of the stuff was dope, and they were using
wait.
very sound tactics.
I have to say, Rock, Jared, was this a good war?
I guess so. But it was
I
cool.
can literally feel you cringing all the way from the top of the United States.
As if but here's the thing, as if I don't normally cringe when I'm with you.
That is true. You
I know,
would have built up an immunity at this point.
They were using legit tactics, like where they have the tanks in a V formation, their infantry was behind them. That is really sound tactics. You're using your armor, and those worm tanks were cool as hell.
Yeah, like how much like did you come on like anything that could be like an analog for something else in the real world?
Well, what they normally do is kind of like, okay, remember in 300 when everyone interlocked their shields?
What is your profession?
Yes. Remember they interlocked these shields and then they would like release them and people would stab out, then they would re-interlock their shields. That's what this reminded me of.
All right. And then what did you think when the kaiju joined the fray?
Because I was like, of course. But it's cool. So I'm like, all right.
Yeah, they definitely use. Also, we also had the you remember the guy from the first season? You know, I hear cowards float. I think it's Ian Michael Richardson. It's so cool hearing his voice again.
I half expected someone to go, my cabbages.
We might. I don't know if we get another one of those jokes. But yeah, we'll see. Well, apparently the cabbage merchant is actually going to be in the live action. It could be played by the guy from the show.
Yeah.
By the way, cabbages.
The one thing that I think is kind of odd, but when I thought about it, it makes sense that firebenders underground are also affected by the eclipse.
Yeah, because firebenders and waterbenders are kind of special because like firebenders kind of get their power from the sun, and waterbenders get their power from the moon.
But they're not in sunlight.
It's like Superman.
I was about to say, is it like with Superman where it's stored? But then again, how would the solar eclipse affect them? It seems like their power turned off. But I'm like, wouldn't you have some energy like saved up, like stored?
I mean, it's like how bloodbenders can do their blood.
If you bring up bloodbenders, I'm gonna take off 5 points in my review.
Jared's review is 10 out of 10 for this episode. That's my executive.
No, I can't do that because it didn't have Jennifer Hale in it. It doesn't get my Hale points.
There will be an episode coming up that will get the Hale points.
Yes.
And I will say it might also get June points.
Ooh, I love me some June. June's my favorite month of the year. No, it's not. It's February.
I mean, you definitely like the actress who voices her, so.
Oh, yeah. You could say she's my favorite voice actress on the Citadel. Yeah, that's all I need. That's all I need.
Sorry. But guys, I'm sorry to announce that Jared has just given me butt cancer.
Okay, but that's the one piece of logic where I'm like, I guess that makes sense, but it's no,
yeah,
I mean,
bloodbending is a sticking point, and I'm gonna make fun of.
No, I mean the underground firebenders. I'm like, what? I mean, them losing their powers as soon as the thing goes off, and I'm like, but you're not in the sun. How does that work?
I don't think it's like a direct line of contact. I think it's more of a spiritual thing, like a spiritual connection.
That's what I figured, and when I figured that, I'm like, I guess that makes sense. But I kind of
because you got to remember these powers don't operate off a scientific fact. It's you know, because
bloodbending exists.
Otherwise, I'd be a waterbender.
Yeah, sure you would.
Jared, what element would you be? Let's do a tangent real quick. What element would you be?
I mean, I would probably go.
I have one in my head, but I'm waiting.
You know what? I'd probably go Earth because I can make my own thrones.
Oh, I thought you were gonna go fire.
Nah, because that I don't like the splash damage that comes from that. I'm like, no, that could get dangerous real quick. At least with this, I can in castles.
Oh my god. Ah.
And to screw with people, I can just fling pebbles at them.
I can literally freeze you.
Nick,
All right,
no.
Jared. Chill.
No, but wait, Nick. Where are we around literally all the time?
Jared,
The
I live
Earth.
in Michigan. I am surrounded by water.
Yes, but you're also on Earth.
Do you know what humans are made of?
If they had explained bloodbending like that, like because she's a waterbender, she can control the body that way, that would have made more sense.
Jared, I'm going to go all X-Men 2 on you, if you know what I mean.
Oh, you're going to be a good sequel?
Well, beyond that, you know that scene where Magneto gets busted out of jail?
Oh, the iron in his blood?
There's too much iron. I'm
But
sorry.
why can't
I
you
love
do that with a regular person? Because the regular person has iron in their blood.
Did you not see the scene before that where she literally?
No, I
ejected?
know, but why did that even have to happen?
We need to cover X2 at one point.
We probably will, and I'll point that out because that is, now that I realize it, that's a major cliffhanger. Because if he's as powerful as he is, he should be able to do that with the regular amount of iron in someone's blood.
X2 is actually one of my favorite films of all time, so I will defend its honor. But anyway, the tangent aside. But yeah, who do you think was the MVP of like the first half of this two-parter?
Sokka, because when it came to stepping up and leading, he immediately did it.
All right, but we got to talk about the scene right before when they're taking their break, where Aang finally kissed Katara. The guy just went for it and he just immediately went on his glider and like, oh my god.
That's the most stereotypical thing. It's the most tropey thing ever, but you know what?
But it
works. It works, so I'm like, okay, it works here.
Guy's going into battle. He might not see her again. Like, frick it, I'm going to kiss this girl.
Yeah.
Come on, you know you love it.
No, I said it works, even though it's tropey as hell.
I'm of the opinion that just because a trope exists does not mean it's bad.
Unless, of course, it's anything in The Last Jedi.
That is fair.
Thank you.
But like another one of my favorite moments from the early on is the calm before the battle. You know, like the storm, like it's basically kind of like you said, the same Private Ryan, the storm in Normandy. Like, did you really like where like Sokka kind of exhaled?
Mm-hmm. I dig that. That was cool, and I liked Appa's armor. Like everyone went for full war in this, and I was like, "Oh, this is great."
They did show him in the previous episode. He was making that armor.
Yes, I know. So finally, good Avatar episodes after 2 weeks of bleh.
So yes, the drought is over. We're just full steaming ahead to the finale.
Whilst the next one is utter crap.
Actually, I think the next episode is actually really good. Let me kind of just look at it real quick. Say something while I do that real quick.
Bloodbending is stupid, and I can't believe that was ever thought of because it makes no sense with the human body or established lore. That's what I'm going to say right there.
Yeah, the next episode is going to be really good.
Okay, good. But watch it. I text Nick as a prank to say this episode sucks, 0 out of 10.
And I may or may not have broken something. So, but anyway, so that's kind of enough stalling for the first episode. Let's get to the meat and potatoes of this, the second of this two-parter. So we're gonna grade the two-parter as a whole. But Jared, if you were to grade part 1 on its own, what would you give it?
8 out of 10 because of the stupid humor in the beginning. Otherwise, from that, it's fine.
I would give it an 8.5 because I liked all the reunions. I like the setup. I'm not as phobic to the humor as you.
I got news for you. Part 2 is a 10 out of 10. I'm just gonna tell you right there.
Okay, so let's get to that. So why do you think episode 2 is a 10 out of 10? Let's break it down.
It's all dope action, awesome character moments, and the moment with Zuko and his father.
Oh, we'll get to that. Trust me. I have a very heartfelt, like, why Zuko is my favorite character of the series. So yeah. So Aang enters the city, and it's empty. It's almost like they knew they were coming.
It's almost like it's a trap.
God dang it, I wish I had that clip on me right
It's
now.
a trap! Yeah, we need one of us needs to grab that, or put both of us as a drop for our shows.
I mean, I can do that pretty easily, but yeah. So they get alerted to it. I'm gonna say the episode 2 MVP is gonna be Toph. I'm sorry, but like without her,
that was dope when they're fighting the Earthbenders, and she's like going straight through them like a knife through through butter. She basically not impresses them.
It turns out that there's a hidden bunker underneath, and they go down there and they try and find it, and they enter the throne room, and it's Azula.
By the way, can I say I love how they run into that one fire guy who's like, "Oh my gosh, it's this way, go this way," and then he just goes, he just walks away.
I'm pretty sure all the servants were instructed to give those and start like oh, he's over that way. I'm pretty sure they're instructed. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
But how did you think? Like, what's your opinion on like how easily Azula kind of evaded them when she didn't have firebending?
Well, it's Azula, so I figured she would have. She would be trained in hand-to-hand combat, so she wouldn't be dependent upon her firebending abilities. Because I'm sure the concept of fighting during the eclipse came up at one point.
Yeah, and Azula has shown to be very acrobatic, so it's not like this kind of came out of nowhere.
It's not like it came out of nowhere, so I understand that. Plus, even if it did, she's the princess. You would think that when her father's the Fire Lord, he would have her trained to the utmost degree. Plus, she's played by Catwoman.
True. So here's a part where I have a bit of a bone of contention. So we're actually might be giving this a lower score than you. What did you think about the Dai Li being there?
That was kind of like, where was that?
That was a bit of an ass pull for me. Like that, I feel like they kind of pulled that one out of their ass.
Yeah, because I was like, they didn't set. If it would be one thing if they showed like maybe Azula torturing them and like brainwashing them, but I'm like, she's like, oh, I have these guys. Where?
Yeah, like I can see the Dai Li betraying the guy for the Earth King. Like I can totally see that, but like for them to totally betray the Earth Kingdom and go for they're Dai Li. They're it's like the KGB. They're like you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's like I don't know. Like you have to have a whole story arc for a KGB agent to turn to the United States. You know, like come on.
Yeah, you need more than just this happens. Okay, can you show me where that's set up? And don't tell me off. That's like when a director, when like someone brings up a discrepancy in the movie and it's not in the movie. Like when Andy Muschietti said like, oh, Batman retired because he killed someone. Where is that in the actual movie I saw?
Exactly. Like, but please.
I had to.
What did you say that name?
I had to bring up the Flash.
Yeah. For that, I'm sorry.
He's trying to pick up a good drop for me. I see what you're doing.
Yeah, the one that I've always used. I'm starting to like pare that down because of curse word.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the replacement for it, by the way.
That's a good one. But that's my point. Too many directors do that. Too many creatives do that. You're in a visual medium. You can't throw stuff at, you can't throw something that's big that goes against a lot of lore in order to advance the story. You have to set that up.
Yeah. Like I get it from a mechanical point of view. Like, okay, she can evade, but without those earthbenders, she would have gotten handled fairly easily. Like, look how easily she got caught out. Like once the Dai Li were dealt with.
Yeah, and you know what? That's going to lower my score to like a 7 out of 10 because, yeah, that is too much of a logic. That's a logical, like, that's a really
3
bad
points?
Yeah, because that's a really bad logical, and I hate when creatives do that. So I tend to grade a little harsher when they do that.
I mean, spoiler alert, I was just going to take off half a point. Like, this is going to be 9.5.
Now, 3 points. I'm sorry. I got to do that because that is my number one pet peeve when it comes to storytelling.
It's your score, brother. It's all right. But you gotta admit, Azula's plan was quite devious, and she pulled it off effectively.
Yes. It's been pretty well, yeah. She's Azula. She's meant to be devious, and I'm like, okay, I dig that. It's all doable, unless of course she's recruiting Earthbenders.
I really like the whole the payoff for Azula always lies. That she's such a good liar. She can actually beat Azula's daredevil sense.
And I love when she makes the joke about Toph being blind. She goes, "You're blind, so you probably can't see. I'm rolling my eyes."
That is maximum cattiness, and I love it.
That is so good. I love that so much.
I don't know what it is about Grey Deloise, but I gotta say this word. She does bitchiness so well. Like, I'm sorry. She does that so well.
Yes, she does. Really, really well.
Well, and apparently she's not pulling too hard from it if you've seen some of her Twitter exchanges.
Yep.
Sorry, I had to bring that one up.
Sure you did.
Oh, but yeah. Let's kind of get to the other two big things so Jared, when Iroh's got like that nice guard, did that voice sound familiar to you?
Should it have?
He's literally looking at the trivia right now.
I don't recognize any of these people, so who is it?
So the voice actress in that role is tennis star Serena Williams.
Oh, I've never heard her speak, so I wouldn't know.
But come on, it's like a big guest, like tennis star Serena Williams doing a voice. That is something we should note.
Okay.
Jared, I gotta ask you a question though. When Iroh said, you should take the rest of the day off, did that give you school I'm just gonna say it, school shooter vibes?
No, why would it?
The whole I like you, don't come to school tomorrow. Like, that's kind of the I don't know. It was kind of weird.
No, it didn't. That's not what it did for me.
Well, what did you react to that one?
I was like, okay, he's gonna break out. That's fine.
I mean, yeah, it's basically he's leading up to that. But let's kind of talk about the scene. This is probably the most important scene in the entire episode.
Yep.
And it's probably to me, I'm doing my serious voice right now. It is probably the most important scene in the entire show for me. Because Zuko is my favorite character, specifically for this dynamic. I have a contentious relationship with my own father. He's not abusive, but he's nowhere near Ozai. Yeah, obviously he didn't burn half my face, but it's not the best. I'm very being kind of general here. I don't want to, but I see a lot of myself in Zuko and the dynamic. And Zuko did what I always wanted to do: tell my father to go frick himself. And Jared, do you realize how important of a scene this is for Zuko?
Well, yeah, because his whole thing for the past 2.5 seasons has been, I gotta make my father proud. Now it's like, I don't care.
Yeah, he said that. He thought he was trying to restore his honor. Like literally, the whole meme of Zuko and honor for that first season. And he realizes it wasn't honor he was chasing. It was his father's love and respect. And now that he finally gets it, he realizes it's not what he wants. And so you remember when I said from the beach where that was kind of an important milestone? This is the culmination of it. And I love, yes, Zuko chose, the most opportune moment. But what did you think about that scene? What, obviously you might not have as much of an emotional connection to it as I do, but what did you think about it?
I mean, I thought he was going to actually fight the Fire Lord and then escape, but I'll take this because it's kind of he kind of had a verbal fight with him, and I appreciate that, where he just walks away. He's like, nope, it's not my because he could have killed the Fire Lord right there, and he's like, nope, that's not my destiny.
We'll get to that. So yeah, obviously Ozai And I love how like Zuko's about to leave, and then I mean not Iroh, but Ozai pulls the one card he knows he can to stall Zuko. And I think in the back of Zuko's head, he knows he's stalling, but he can't resist is Zuko's mother.
Mm-hmm. I didn't see that one coming. Oh,
You didn't see that coming?
You're lucky I had that one kind of like pulled up, but yeah.
or is that going to get paid off later? That tells me. Take that as
you might. Let's just say that might cause you to take half a point off of a certain episode, but I'm just going to leave it at that.
I can't wait for that. Oh boy, I'll take that as a no then.
Yeah. In the comics, it kind of gets paid off. I'll say that.
So in the secondary source material, they don't even do it in the main source material.
I will talk more after this show. I'll tell you.
Whatever episode that is, it loses 2 points.
We'll talk more about that after the show. But like, so it stalls, and then you get a peek of the eclipse over. How like that just shows how powerful Ozai is, that he can sense when the eclipse is over, and he instantly does lightning bending, and then Zuko
unlimited power.
But then, how did you like the scene where Zuko literally redirects it?
Yeah, I was like, that reminds me a lot of like whenever anyone goes up against the no, it reminds me of when Yoda fought Dooku and redirected the lightning.
Like, did you see kind of Zuko's face where he realized, no, Ozai's face, like literally Zuko could have killed him right then and there. This whole entire series could have been done right then and there.
My powers have doubled since the last time we met Fire Lord.
Twice the pride, double the fall. I'm sorry, you set me up for it.
Yeah, we had to.
But yeah, like, what do you think? Like, how cool is that scene?
It was dope. I enjoyed it. I like a good scene of verbal exchanges, and that was there. I like that one. And
so we kind of get to the kind of like the wrap up of the show. How sad was it when they realized they had lost?
Yeah, because they had like they thought they were winning, and then as soon as like Aang's came into the city and we saw it was empty, I was like, okay, it's a trap, and then the heroes are gonna be forced to retreat.
So the finale is they take the children, the men stay and surrender, and they go off into the sunset. Tell me, Jared, did you get Empire Strikes Back vibes when they're going and then out of the clouds?
Yes, it was that. Yeah, exactly.
All right, so obviously you get a 7 out of 10 for what's the entire two-parter score?
Let's see. The first one was like an 8. Did I say 8 out of 10 last time?
I think so. Yeah.
All right, so average, I'm gonna give it like a 7.5.
Mine is a 9.5. I do take half a point for the other one. So Jared, before we go, what's some trivia you got for me?
Okay, so what we got is, let me scroll back up to the trivia. It says here that during the original U.S. airing of this episode, the title card for this episode read Chapter 10. On subsequent airings, the name was changed to the correct number, Chapter 11.
Oh, okay.
Nickelodeon, as it had done for the Fury of Aang, the library and the desert, and the Secret of Fire Nation specials, rallied greatly to promote this two-parter, creating a completely new website with links to a tournament, the Turbonic site, and wallpaper downloads, even including the publishing of a new online game the day before the specials United States airing.
Interesting.
And the idea of an oppressive leader using a secret bunker during a war is similar to Adolf Hitler, who utilized his own bunker.
Except there are less bullets to the mouth. So
yeah, and when the soldiers march up the volcano, they hold shields above their heads in a formation reminiscent of the Roman testudo. It's just pretty much the 300 shield.
Jared, I got to do this. Water Tribe! What is your profession?
Of course, there you go. It actually works when you say Water Tribe.
All right, anything else?
No, that's it.
All right, so we got a really great episode kind of coming up. Jared, I'm just gonna say this without context. Hello, Zuko here.
Okay. That's gonna be odd.
All right. So we got the Western Air Temple coming up, and we got Zuko being fully introduced to the gang. It's gonna be a great episode. I'm not entirely sure if you're gonna like it or not. I think he might.
Oh boy. So it's gonna be one of those things. We were on the verge of greatness, and then it just gets snatched away from me.
So anyway, this is Nick from the Phoenix Press, and remember, I can only show you the door. You're the ones to walk through it.